We're on to the last significant item, which is council-initiated discussion. I think you all know the drill here. We've been in charge of the agenda until now, but now we're ready to turn the microphones over to you. Are there reports you want to hear at future council meetings? Do you want to bring to our attention any concerns you're hearing in the scientific community? Or as Eric says, what's on your mind?
And we made sure we exhausted you before we asked this today. The best defense is a strong offense. Yeah, Gail?
I've been encouraging my colleagues who are teaching to use the All of Us data when possible. We have a lot of informatics courses. And, I'm getting feedback that to use the non-public data, the students all need to sign up, do a lot of training, use their social security numbers, and it's a high burden for an entire class. And I'm just wondering if there is, that's such a great data set. It's such a wonderful way to bring people in to using that data, to use it in classes. I'm just wondering if there's a way to lessen the burden. Like if a teacher is approved to teach something, to sweep the class into some kind of code where, I'm sure they have to say they're not going to break the rules, but instead of every individual going through that credentialing process, I wonder if there's a way to shortcut that for a class. I realize that's a little outside of NHGR.
No,
but it impacts us.
I regard ourselves on very good terms with all of us. I also regard ourselves on very good terms with Josh Denny, who's research labs in our intramural program. So I think we can ask, I know, Carolyn, I don't want to put you on the spot. I know that Carolyn serves on the committee of senior program directors that interface. So she could either take that topic, or if she knows something else, she could say something, or she could take that topic to that group.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. I think that the one of the things, so the group that Eric's talking about, it's called the LCT. It's like one of the worst acronyms ever. We're the Trans NIH Liaison Committee. So that's where the LC, I don't remember, team. Anyways, across the ICs. And one of the things that there's been a lot of more behind the scenes effort in all of us is this question about the researcher engagement. There was such a focus early in the participant engagement and recruitment and this move in. And so there have been some discussions on this particular topic, like lowering the barrier to entry for people who are not, if you're going to be doing a full-on research project, you have to go through that barrier of entry. But for some of the stuff that could be done, that's like between what's in the public facing and that. So I can certainly bring that particular example forward to that group. I also think there's a lot of sort of room and feedback for that type of information. And so we can also work with Rudy. I can make sure with comfort later this week to get something out to council about like specific people to contact in all of us. Because I think one of the things that's also, I think, hard sometimes is to know who's the person, so Kareem Watson's the person who I would really direct that question to. But I think sometimes it's hard to know like who's the right person. And so I can provide some of those inputs as well, because there certainly is, I think, a lot of interest in all of us to have the data being used. And I'll use this, since I have the microphone and it's an open session, for a momentary all of us plug. So there was a move last year with R21s and R03s and a call out to the community to bring those in. There was a very good response, and those a lot of those have gotten funded or are getting funded over these couple of months. But just that there still is a lot of room also for R03s and R21s for people to just come in under the parent and use all of us. And there's increasing information on their website available to people who want to do applications to just sort of help with the preliminary understanding that you need to have to put that type of application together. And so I think that's not quite the same as the student part, but it relates to that sort of having the support to really be able to have people use the data.
And Gal, I love your question, and I wanted to make sure I got the wording correct. Our bold prediction number 5 and our strategic vision was that studies involving analyses of genome sequences and associated phenotypic information for millions of human participants would be regularly featured at school science fairs. We didn't say all of us because we wanted to make it very generic, but we got until 2030 to even have it available for junior high and high school. So I completely resonate with your concern. We will bring this up. Other thoughts? I will make the point that, February seems like eons away. I know there will be new leadership at both institutes and at NIH. We will just see available, look at the schedule for the open session. It will be a virtual meeting. It'll be February, so it'll be virtual. So Rudy and I and others will figure out who are the right guests. I mean, we'll take suggestions. Some of them may not be appointed yet or have been. We already have one. Oh, who's coming? Joni Rutter couldn't make today. I think her council was today or something like that. But there was a conflict. So we have Joni Rutter coming, head of NCATS. We could imagine some others, some that got mentioned today. So we'll see schedules, we'll see availability, but we will certainly bring you some new leadership guests, as we always do, but we're also open to other ideas. Okay, this is clearly the best way to do it, Rudy. 9-hour open sessions, and then they don't get cantankerous. It's really
They want to go
excellent.
home or they
Yeah.
want to go to the bar.
They don't want to go home, they want to go to the bar, so that's fine. Anything else? But you have at least another thing or two you have to do on the
Yeah, I have to
agenda.
read a conflict of interest.
Yes.
That's worth sticking around for, right? So this applies to the applications that you will review tomorrow in closed session. You must leave the meeting room when applications submitted by your own organization are being individually discussed. In the case of state higher education or other systems with multiple campuses that are geographically separated, own organization is intended to mean the entire system, except where determination has been made that the components are separate organizations for the purpose of determining conflict of interest. You should avoid situations that could give rise to charges of conflict of interest, whether real or apparent. For example, you should not participate in the deliberations and actions of any application from or involving your spouse or child, recent student, recent teacher, professional collaborator with whom you have worked closely, close personal friend, or a scientist with whom you have had long-standing scientific or personal differences. NHGRI staff will determine the appropriate action based on recency, frequency, and strength of such associations or interests, either positive or negative, and will instruct you accordingly. In council actions in which you vote on a block of applications without discussing any individual one, for example, the en-bloc action, your vote will not apply to any application from any institution fulfilling the criteria noted above. Please sign the conflict of interest and disposal of confidential materials form Comfort Brown has sent to you and return it to Comfort with your signature by email. And this concludes the first day of council meeting and the open session. We'll reconvene here at 10 a.m. tomorrow, so the shuttle will pick you up at 9:15. Okay?
Okay.
And for our virtual participants, see you
Thank you,
tomorrow at 10.
everybody. Enjoy your evening tonight, and you all deserve a nice glass of wine or two. So, thank you very much.